Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're taking acclaimed scientist Matt Walker's incredible research and transforming it into a totally practical, no-nonsense guide for better sleep. But before we jump right into the solutions, we really need to understand the shocking stakes here. What actually happens when we don't get enough rest? And trust me, the biological toll is way more severe than just feeling a little groggy the next morning.
Okay, let's dive into this wild stat right off the bat. Routinely sleeping just 4 to 5 hours a night, that literally drops a man's testosterone levels to that of someone a full 10 years older. Yeah, 10 years. Think about that for a second. A lack of sleep is essentially aging a guy by an entire decade in that critical area of wellness. And hey, the research shows equivalent dramatic impairments in female reproductive health too. It's intense. So, to tackle this sleep crisis, here's our game plan. We're going to quickly hit number 1, the cost of sleep loss, and 2, the sleep bank myth. Then, we'll spend most of our time on the actionable stuff. 3, habit 1, supreme regularity. 4, habit 2, keep it cool. And 5, breaking the wakefulness trap. Let's move right into section 1, the cost of sleep loss, and the terrifying biological toll of deprivation. Let's look at how missing out on sleep systematically attacks your brain and your body.
Get this. There's a massive 40% deficit in your brain's ability to make and save new memories when you pull an all-nighter. When sleep-deprived folks were put head-to-head against a group that got a full 8 hours, the exhausted group had a staggering 40% drop in their ability to absorb new facts. To put that into perspective, that's literally the difference between a student completely acing an exam and failing it miserably. So why does this happen? Well, it all comes down to a fascinating little structure on the left and right side of your brain called the hippocampus. You can kind of think of the hippocampus as the informational inbox of your brain. With a full night of sleep, that inbox is open, it's clear, and it's totally ready to receive new memory files. But without enough sleep, this crucial structure becomes like a waterlogged sponge. It's completely unable to absorb anything new. It effectively shuts down, and any new incoming files just get bounced right back. And wow, the physical bodily cost is just as severe. Restricting your sleep to just 4 hours for a single night causes a terrifying 70% drop in natural killer cells. You can think of these highly critical cells as your immune system's secret service agents. Their whole job is to identify dangerous, unwanted elements circulating in your body, like cancerous tumors, and eliminate them. When you shortchange your sleep, you're basically stripping away 70% of your immune assassins, leaving your body in a really concerning state of immune deficiency. Which brings us to section 2, the sleep bank myth, and why we cannot just catch up on weekends. Keeping those terrifying biological costs in mind, we absolutely have to address a dangerous misconception. Here is the crucial truth. Sleep is not a bank. You cannot accumulate a debt during the work week and just hope to pay it all off later. Humans are actually the only species that deliberately deprive themselves of sleep for no apparent survival reason. And because of that, Mother Nature never had to face the challenge of sleep deprivation during our evolution. She never created an evolutionary safety net for us to pay off a sleep debt. When you undersleep, things just rapidly implode. Right, so this brings up an incredibly important question. If the damage to our brains and bodies is really that severe, and we can't just sleep in on Saturdays to magically fix it, what are we actually supposed to do? How do we build a healthy relationship with rest? Let's get into the solutions with section 3. Habit 1, supreme regularity, anchoring your sleep cycle. This is the absolute most important actionable habit for fixing your sleep routine. According to the extensive research, there is one ultimate rule you need to follow. Regularity is king. Honestly, if you take absolutely nothing else away from this explainer, remember this. Regulating your schedule is the single most effective way to anchor your sleep and immediately boost both the quantity and the quality of your rest. So, how do we put this into practice? You gotta commit to a rigid schedule every single day. Going to bed at the exact same time and waking up at the exact same time. And yes, you have to completely ignore whether it's a busy Tuesday morning with an awful commute or a super relaxed Sunday where you have literally nothing to do. Your biology simply doesn't know the difference between a weekday and a weekend. Consistency is the anchor your brain is desperately looking for to build a stable rhythm. Moving right along to section 4, habit 2, keep it cool, the optimal temperature for slumber. Let's see how building the perfect physical environment helps your brain naturally shut down. So it turns out your thermostat is just as important as your alarm clock. You're always going to find it significantly easier to fall asleep in a room that's too cold compared to one that's too hot.
For the vast majority of people, setting your bedroom temperature to a cool 65 degrees Fahrenheit, that's about 18 degrees Celsius, is the absolute optimal target for initiating sleep.
And this isn't just about feeling cozy, it's a strict biological requirement. Your body physically needs to drop its core temperature by 2 to 3 degrees Fahrenheit just to initiate sleep. And then it needs to seamlessly maintain that lower temperature to keep you in a deep, restorative sleep state all night long. By intentionally keeping your room at 65 degrees, you are essentially giving your body a massive head start and making that necessary temperature drop without putting up a fight.
Finally, let's hit Section 5, breaking the wakefulness trap, relearning the bed association. Because let's face it, even with perfect regularity and a wonderfully cool room, we all sometimes find ourselves staring endlessly at the ceiling. If you are lying awake for too long, please do not just stay there hoping sleep will magically arrive. Strictly follow this 4-step procedure. First, recognize that you're stuck. Second, physically get out of your bed and go to a completely different room. Third, do a different, low-stress activity. And fourth, only return to your bed when you actually feel heavily sleepy again.
The whole point of getting up and leaving the room is deeply psychological. If you stay in bed tossing and turning, your brain will very quickly start to associate your bedroom with being awake. You absolutely have to break that link. By walking away and coming back only when you're genuinely tired, you're forcing your brain to relearn that the bed is exclusively a place for sleep, not a place for wakefulness, and definitely not a place for anxious overthinking.
I absolutely love this analogy because it hits the nail right on the head. It shows exactly how illogical it is to just lie there suffering in the dark. I mean, you'd never sit at an empty dinner table for hours agonizingly waiting for your appetite to arrive, right? So don't torture yourself by lying in bed waiting for sleepiness to wash over you. Get up, reset your environment, and come back when your body's actually ready.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to completely rethink how you view a full night's rest. Sleep is not some optional lifestyle luxury, and getting enough of it is definitely not a sign of laziness. It is a non-negotiable biological necessity. It is literally the Swiss Army knife of health, protecting your memory, your immune system, and your biological life itself. It truly is your ultimate life support system. So, armed with this step-by-step guide, anchoring your schedule with supreme regularity, dropping the temp to a cool 65 degrees, and knowing exactly how to break that wakefulness trap, the rest is up to you. I challenge you to put these science-backed habits to the test. It is time to stop treating rest as an afterthought. Will you reclaim your right to a full night's sleep and finally experience rest as your ultimate superpower? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and good luck tonight.